understanding the core of why you do what you do. Cool.
Yeah.
Get the accolades. You got the World Championship. Cool. You got Massive Monkey Day. But what you gonna do with it, right? It sounds like cliche, whatever, but no, real talk. Like it's what our core identity is. It's like, I remember right before, they're about to announce us in R16, and I remember looking up where there's the guy in the middle. He's about to raise people's hands, and I remember for a quick couple seconds in my head saying, "We do this. We win." Oh my goodness! Like I'm gonna try my very best to give it back as much as I can. Right?
Welcome to CypherBeastT.V. We got a b-boy from the Northwest. He's been dancing since the 90s out in Seattle, Washington in a crew called Massive Monkees. We got no other than Jeromeskee. On this episode, we will be going over how to get into breaking storytelling, how Massive Monkee was created, talks about Lord of the Floors R16. I'm your host, Tony47, and enjoy this episode.
Let me do the intro.
You want to do the intro?
I'm joking.
Yeah, no, you
What's
good.
going on, everybody? Here we are with Tony. Amazing, incredible Tony. I'm just joking with you.
You're good. Jeromeskee. Damn, this is tight. This is dope. There's a lot to it, man. I can go a little deeper, but yeah.
Absolutely, man. That's awesome. And you have arrived, right? Like we were just talking before you started recording, but you're doing it. You're hustling and you're making it happen. And sometimes it's all about timing, right? And finding that space and time to be like, nah, I'm gonna go out there and make it happen. That's what it always comes down to. Like with all these b-boys who are just starting, or these b-boys and b-girls who are big names, it comes down to that. It's, am I gonna do it or am I not? And then over time, the consistency and the preparation of how you're gonna rock and what you're gonna do, and either be podcasts, video footage, battles, shows, competitions, right? It's just that question: am I gonna do it on a daily, right?
It's crazy. It's just simple as that. Saying, are you gonna do it? But there's a lot of a lot of stuff that goes around your mental mindset that can limit you.
100%.
So,
what's up?
This tight, dude. Thank you. Like, you're actually the first person to actually ask questions about me, because a lot of
What we were talking about earlier too, before that's the thing. It's the connection, right? Over time, I've been 30 years in the game, close to 30 years in game, and it's always what I've learned, and it's profound for me. If the person's been dancing for 2 months to 20 years, 30 years, it's the connection. Everyone has a perspective. Everyone has a understanding, and something that that I can always find value and learn and grow as well too. I mean, that's just real talk. That I'm really with the the growth mindset, understanding of just constantly evolving and learning and trying to better myself, honestly. And it's always cool to really sit down and talk to people in different countries or different places, or with you in the podcast, and just really gaining that mindset and learning people's stories.
Nice. That's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah. And like I'll say, in the podcast and the content, it's just one niche. There's a lot of things that I definitely want to get into down the road, but it's still in the works as movement of those daily achievements, right? And definitely I am wearing all the hats. So yeah.
And that's what usually happens, right? Like when you go for it and you're doing something big, you're wearing as many hats as possible and trying to move forward as much as possible. It's not easy. It's not easy, but you're doing it. So respect.
Yeah, thank you. I think the biggest thing is the uncomfort state. Like, I ain't trying to go talk to this person or this person, but sometimes it's like you just gotta do it.
Yeah, man. And what's awesome is sometimes you say you want to talk to somebody or interview somebody, and you have all this stuff in your mind, like, oh, what if this, what if that? And then when you meet them, you're like, all right, that's simple, And everyone's just, they have their story. They're all down to earth, majority down to earth and cool, and willing. What I've learned is people who've been in the game for a very long time usually just want to talk and contribute. And I'm sure with all the people you interviewed, it's similar in that pattern where people want to talk and chat and add value to your podcast.
Dope. And once again, thank you for taking the time. I'm really appreciative of you taking to do this and getting on the show. So,
thank you.
Dope. All right. Yo, welcome to CypherBeastT.V. I'm your host, Tony47. We got a dope ace B-boy from the Northwest out in Seattle, Washington, Jeromeskee from Massive Monkee Crew. What's up, man? How you doing?
It's good, brother. Thank you for having me. Excited to be here and just talk and chat and build with you.
No, that's awesome, man. I want to dive a little deep dive into some of your stories. And so, when were you exposed to breaking?
I was exposed to breaking. I watched Beat Street.
Okay.
Versus New York City Breakers. I didn't know anything about breaking at that time. I was thinking I was in 5th or 6th grade. I was in 6th grade. My cousin showed me popping the VHS tape, watched it, blown away, and I wanted to learn more. And in that time, it was in the 90s. Yes, in the 90s, mid 90s. Breaking wasn't mainstream at all. It was always underground at that time. So it was really hard to find these breaking battles. You heard of them, but you had to know somebody that knew about the event of a battle or a practice spot. So it was Beat Street that got me hooked on. And then I also had this underground footage that DVS created, Fever One. He created this old school video footage that was circulating around Seattle. And it was the hot tape. Oh. If you could find it, then that was the golden treasure. So we found it and we watched it till we watched it so much till the VHS tape pretty much almost broke.
Oh wow, that's crazy. So when you said VHS, you said back in the 90s. How old were you?
I started breaking when I was 13.
Okay.
Close to 12, but started breaking when I was 13, and I sucked. Like, I was athletic. I played soccer, so I loved to compete. But I was offbeat. I knew I was fast. Yes, you see in my dance style, but I really didn't connect with the music and the understanding of the flow until a little later. Of course, fascinated with the ground power, the power moves and tricks. And once I started learning the art of the dance, then it clicked. But it took some time. It took some time. And when you're a kid, you try to get down with the crew because you want to be part of a crew. So long story short, the crew I tried to get into, I was practicing in the West Seattle White Center area for about a year and a half with some cats in the West Seattle area. And they told me that, hey, we're going to get into this crew called Oasis. I'm like, all right, that's what's up. At that time, Boss Crew was here. Oasis was, they're like in the middle. I'm like, dope, cool. My friends got down for Oasis. They battled in, and they told me, hey, all you have to do is battle, you'll get down. Cool. So for 2 weeks straight, hours and hours, the most I ever practiced, almost 2 hours a day, maybe more, for 2 weeks straight. Went to the community center where we were going to battle. This one kid named Edinburgh was to battle with me to get into Oasis, right? So it was 2 versus, I believe it was 7 cats on Oasis. We battled, we exchanged, went back and forth. And at the end of the day, Edinburgh got in the crew and I did not. And that was it's one of my favorite stories because was I mad? Was I angry, pissed off, sad? Yeah, I put my heart and soul into that, man. And I was 12 or 13 years old at that time. But my good friend Celestino, he watched because he always incredible. It's like a big brother. He watched the whole thing go down, and he said, "Go to Jefferson Community Center."
Oh wow! Okay.
Jefferson Community Center has the greatest dancers there. They got Boss Crew. They got their younger crew, younger generation called ABC. He said, "Why don't you go and get down and try to get down with ABC?" I'm like, nah. That's kind of, and that's that whole talk about. I'm not sure. That's intimidating. It's a little scary. I can't even get down with this crew Oasis. How am I gonna get down with one of the biggest and dopest crews, right? I showed up anyways. I took the bus,
Okay.
went there with my
Yeah.
brother, and I was the new kid on the block. Super intimidating. I was hungry, super hungry. And then what was interesting is so many kids, hundreds of kids were in and out of Jefferson Community Center. And what made Boss Crew incredible is the mentorship. DVS Crew, Beaver
Mm.
One, Soul One, Sneak One, Hughes, Ray One, DV One, all the ones. Uh, and they were the ones who were pretty much the Michael Jordan of breaking in
Uh-huh.
Seattle. And not only were they incredible with skills, but they're also incredible in mentorship and really giving back. So they were a huge anchor to what breaking looks like, what hip hop's about, and how it's important to give back. That's where we learned the blueprint early exposed of it's more than just about you. Give
Mm.
back, right?
Yeah.
And so many kids went in and out of Jefferson. Boss Crew was the top crew for a long time, for a few years in the 90s. Um, and then over time, a lot of kids kind of simmered out from breaking, and there was two groups: Untouchable Style Monkeys, right? We were ABC, Bryce and myself, Flo, Gulliver. Um, we changed from ABC to Untouchable Style Monkeys, and there's
Mm-hmm.
another group called Massive, right? And at first, we didn't really, like each other at first, but we would just practice at the same space and at
Okay.
the same time, of course. And a lot of people were flowing out of the program or flowing out of the community center, and we just decided to come together because we were passionate kids that became friends, and then we formed Massive Monkees.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's fire.
yeah,
And then
and it wasn't. I want to get this correct. It
uh
wasn't two crews that were dope that had names, right? Like we were no namers, nobodies. We weren't good at a high level at all, right? We're two crews that were just up and coming, that were literally just love to dance. And there were people
mm,
around that time that could have the same mentorship as well too. That got the same mentorship. It was
mhm.
just a group of kids that stayed consistent, and we worked hard night and day. You're talking about we convert a whole lifestyle to becoming the best that we can be as b-boys, and with Anna and Lotus b girls, right? So we it was a lifestyle.
Mm.
We did it as because we wanted to live it. So we didn't just do it, we lived it and are still living it.
Wow. That's that's sick. That's dope. From the beginnings of the formation of Massive Monkey, right? And from there, you slowly recruited or got new talent and people to within the crew.
Yes, we actually also had a house. We had several houses, Massive Monkey houses. And we learned early too with Circle of Fire. They were also another great blueprint. Shout outs to Circle of Fire, who
Uh-huh.
really helped the understanding of connecting and being family and living in one house and just living that dance life. Um, the stuff you guys see on You Got Served, and
Uh-huh.
the whole idea of, oh yeah, we're living
Yeah.
together in one house. I mean, that's Circle of Fire and Massive Monkey's story as well. Like we're the ones who like lived it. And I remember at a time I lived in the third Massive Monkey house, and it was Little Lazy's family's property. There's 3 floors,
Uh,
and yeah, it's awesome because there's always music playing, and there was no living room. It was just open space. Why? Because each floor was a dance space. So the first floor was Juice and Bryson. They were trained for something. The second floor we were trained for maybe a theater space. I mean, theater, that space was for a theater. We're working on a theater show. And then the third floor, we're just also training as well, too. So it was a constant, um, it was fun. It was constantly training, and it was always something happening and always music playing. So it was unique. It was a fun time, good times.
Wow, that's crazy. That's incredible. I never thought of it. Like you mentioned, the house, right? And so where you guys connect, getting down, living the dance life, or training for this type of things, in a sense. So, wow, that's crazy. That's
Yeah,
dope. That's tight.
yeah. I mean, it would be cool because sometimes we would have, say, where we talk about, okay, we got freestyle session. All right, everybody go to the house. Let's
Yeah.
train. Okay, hey, you know, we're flying here. There's people here flying out to go to a competition. Let's train together. Or hey, we have a show here, and then literally there's multiple things happening at the same time. And I think that's why we've been consistent, because we would work on it. We would work on it. We started as a group who would do community center battles, right? Nobody gave us any handouts at all. We would literally have a summer job or a job just so we can have enough money to rent a van, pack up a white van, pack it with 12 to 14 people. This is in high school. And we would drive to California Freestyle Session. This is Freestyle Session 2000. Rent two hotel rooms, pack it up with as many people as we could, right?
Uh-huh.
And freestyle session, and have that experience. Come back home and do it again. Go to New York, do it again, and go to Miami. Do it again and go to California. Back to California. That was constant. So nothing was ever given to us. We just had to. If you wanted it, you had to go get it, right? If you wanted it, you make it happen. And that was it. And I remember having a summer jobs just so I can go to New York and experience and learn from the pioneers in New York and enter Rocksteady Anniversary and just really experience breaking, experience hip hop. But it was just about you want it, go make it happen. So we started at the community center, then we went West Coast, East Coast, then nationally, then internationally, and then on World Championship stages.
Damn, that's so tight. That's so dope to like learn about you, to get the experience of you want it, just go out and get it, right? Just figure it out. You'll find a way how bad you want it.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's many times we would question, like, how do we do this? How is this going to work? Many times you would, you know, there's times where in my 20s, I mean, this whole starving artist thing is true. Like, how am I going to do this? All right. At that time, we were working with the Supersonics, the NBA basketball team. We were the
Uh-huh.
first official breaking crew in the NBA. And there was
Oh,
that time
dope.
where like we were guinea pigs. Like, is this going to work? We made it work. We maximized, utilized that platform, and we made it work. And we were there for a very long time. But I remember working there. I was working at the bank, right? And then
Uh-huh.
in between, I would travel here and there. But that was the life. It was, and I was teaching too. So I would work with the Supersonics. So I would work at the bank in the morning for 3 or 4 hours, right? Short shift as a teller. And I would teach at after school programs for 2 hours. And then I would work at the Supersonics, the Boom Squad. And I'll train when I can. And I would travel in between, right? So it was just like back to back. It's always been back to back, but it was the hustle. And nothing was literally like, hey, we're going to give you this opportunity. It was, what's that opportunity? And yeah, there's opportunities that came to us, but it was the work that we did previously in order to gain that opportunity.
Most definitely. Wow. Crazy. That inspires me, just knowing that from your early days, right? The whole house connecting with others in Massive Monkees, Circle of Fire, taking the time to travel to get stuff you how bad you want it. And definitely resonate a lot of that too, till this day, even before, a little before early. I I resonate a lot of it because it takes a lot of time and effort and expense to do these type of things, to go out to this trip, and connect with others, and who knows what are you going to get back after, right? Because it's the love, it's the passionate that you're just out there to explore the knowledge and connection with others.
Absolutely. Like what you're doing with your podcast, right? You're doing it for the love. You're doing
Yeah,
it because you see a mission, a vision, and you're going for it and you're making it happen, knowing that, there's probably gonna be no money at the end of the day, right? Like that's what we did
right.
as B-boys coming up. Like we're doing it just because we strictly were passionate about it. And shows might come around. We didn't know. Like, but when there's the opportunity that presented itself, like how can we make the best show we can do? How can we be the best competitors that we can be, right? So that's the biggest thing, right? It's the best competitors that we can be, you know. And we always look at the biggest goal. It's like how can we not be the best in Seattle that we can be? Let's be the best in the world that we can be. Now the thing is, we can be, right. We can be
Right.
means own originality, style, our own, character and flavor. We come from an era where every individual in the crew has their own character and style. If I saw a silhouette of Bryson or Domes or Anna Banana Freeze or Nolan or Joe Rock, I know who's dancing without a doubt. Like we know each other that well, to a point where when there's battle time, we were so in sync in the moment that we would look at each other like, all right, that's the person you're gonna respond to. Okay, cool. And we don't have to say words sometimes. We could just look at each other like, cool, that's your response. All right, you got that. It was like that because we live with each other, know each other, and we're really just tight with each other and really respect each other in the sense of everybody worked hard. Everybody worked hard. There's others who really put extra work, and there's others who really was just in the flow of it, and it contributed in a sense where it's just that unity sense of just going for it and just being raw about and not being perfect about it. Many people are dipping and dabbing like, is this the right path? Should I be perfect? We didn't know sometimes. Like we didn't think, honestly, we didn't think that we envisioned something awesome. We envisioned something great. But to be where we're at now in 2024, oh man, we're just beyond grateful. Beyond grateful.
That's awesome. Yeah, you're like the most known Massive Monkey in Seattle, around the world. They know who you are. You've done a lot of accomplishments, a lot of dreamful things, I would say, for I as a viewer, as I for somebody in a different city to see your crew to achieve all this greatness. But it does take a lot of hard work to get to there. A lot of things, connection with your crew, movements, abilities, mindset, right? And wow, it's just
Yeah, I mean,
incredible.
see, thank you for that. I appreciate that. And people see all the accolades, people see the limelight, but the behind the scenes stuff where you question yourself. There's times, again, in my early 20s, I'm like, how am I gonna make a career out of this? There's times where I'm like, all right, man, I gotta hustle because I need to pay rent. Like real conversations like that. Like, all right, cool. I know like I'm traveling here in spring and summertime, but during wintertime, it's slow for me as far as shows or for judging, stuff to make money. And I'm like, all right, cool. I love teaching and coaching, but how can I up my game to add more value to that, right? So I can get paid a little more, right? Because
Right.
you can do passionately for the love of it all day, every day. No doubt about that. We done a lot of free stuff. We did so many free shows, like countless free shows before we even got
Uh-huh.
right. So
Yeah.
many free coaching. We still do free coaching, um, but now it's as we learn over time. Now we just learn how to build platforms, and there's people in the crew who are invested in just coaching, doing shows, competing, or some people who just lean back and just go with it and flow with it, right? And
Mm.
that's what's amazing about it. Um, but there are, I would say, certain cats in the crew that have led and helped to make where Massive Monkees are at today. And it's just their hustle and their vision. And we would go really support that individual or that group to help. So either be Massive Monkey Day, either be a competition, shows or theater or coaching. Yeah, we see it and we're like, all right. And now don't get me wrong. There's many times where we could have just like, we're getting older. We're in our 40s. A lot of people are getting in their 40s. People in their late 30s. The next generation, they're 20s. Like that's fun and that's easy in the 20s, right? But as far as like the physical level and being a dad and having businesses and whatnot and life in general, it takes a certain individual to continue to break. And again, it all comes down to just why you're doing it, right? And
Yeah,
we
100%.
we love to do this. It's just what we do. If it wasn't, take all the limelight out, take all that, will we still be breaking? Absolutely.
Right.
We break all the time. We play music. This is the best part right now for me. I'll play music throughout the house. My family, we play music throughout the house all the time. And my kids, they just cipher about each other naturally.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the best part, because I'll just dance sometimes and then all of a sudden I'm cooking or something. I'm doing something around the house. And then my kids will just battle each other and cipher. And that's to me, it's the joy, because they love to do it. They just like to get down and move, and to be able to share this dance with my kids has been my number one thing, and that was literally the main one, the main reasons why I did Lords of the Floor again. It wasn't, hey, look at us. No doubt we're reps in Seattle, and we take that very, very serious and with an honor. And so we want to make sure we prepped and did it right, put everything on the table for preparation, for all our experience and understanding how to prep, and we do it our way, Massive Monkees way, and to show up and to represent Seattle was an inspiration for us to come back. But for me personally, other than, because I knew my friends were going to be there, high school friends were going to be there, and the community and representing the crew, and then just having my kids see that moment, that was everything for me. So
that's incredible. That is awesome. Are you kids breaking at all?
Yeah.
Oh, snaps. Okay.
Shows. My wife and I, we have a dance studio, right? There's the Beacon in the Seattle area, and we have Body Language Studio, which my wife and I we own, and I have a breaking program there. We do different dance styles, but our breaking program is it's pretty big at Body Language Studio. About 13 classes a week, just strictly for breaking. But we also do tap, jazz, hip hop, studio hip hop, ballet. But yeah, man, we do our breaking league there, and we do our grand finale breaking massive break challenge at Folk Life Festival. And I've been doing this breaking league before there was all these breaking leagues. Now I did this breaking league in 2006, started in 2006.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, man. And at that time in the early 2000s, because I was teaching after school programs, a lot of my students were getting really hyped and inspired, and they would enter these battles and they would be battling professionals. And it's just not fair if a kid has been dancing for a year and battling a kid or a person that's been dancing for 10 years, right? Because there's no levels at these competitions. So I just came up with the idea, like, how can we get these kids to thrive? Exhibition format breaking league for the kids, for the youth, for the next generation. And many of these kids are now breaking in Seattle. That's a lot of these kids came and graduated from Massive Break Challenge. So there's 4 generations deep, and just to see these kids thrive, it's incredible. That's everything. It's really dope. It's really dope.
That's crazy. That's really dope and inspiring, because you see them from the beginning stages till now.
Absolutely.
Wow. Cool. So a little bit about the You looped a lot through there, talking about the floors, the beacon, teaching, workshops, and your studios. Um, I want to loop it back to you mentioned Board of the Floors. You said that you were inspired through your family, through friends to compete in that type of competition level, right? What was your preparation other than that drive with them? What was your training method in field other
Ooh.
than the family and friends, or was that just like the main reasons?
Yeah, well, Lords of the Floor, they were trying to bring it back in 2002, right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
In media, but it didn't happen because so much was complicated because of we're still coming out of COVID, right?
Hmm.
So that
Right.
that
Right.
made it complicated. So they pushed it back in 2023. It didn't happen, and then we heard about it in 2023. JD and I went to LA to do a photo shoot and get prepped and ready. And so it's been in our mind for a very long time.
Okay.
And once we got the green light, summertime, or we started doing the interviews and started doing the media stuff for Lords of the Floor, we're like, all right, it's game time. So it's been in our mind for a very long time. Now,
Mm.
when JD and I compete, that's my battle, brother. We've been in battles from little small ciphers to world championship stages. When it's on the line, like we'll put our heart and soul and everything on that floor. That's just how we roll, right? We're just always tapped in the same frequency when it comes to battles. So I just know he got my back and I got his back. And there's so many times where we would battle people in raw ciphers, battle people in international competitions, and we just click all the time. So when we actually agreed to do Lords of Floor, it's like, let's go, it's game time. So for us, we actually, and this is the thing, right? Yeah,
Uh-huh.
this is the thing. Like we prepare to go the distance. We don't just answer like, hey, we're in our 40s. And trust, we're in our 40s. We're older, right?
Uh-huh.
And so it's like, all right, we may be the underdogs, so we're older, let's go, right? And at the same time, though, we have the experience and understanding and know of what it takes to prepare, and knowing the fact that we got honor Seattle. That's the biggest thing. We're not just going to show up. No, we're going to show up, right?
Word.
To go to the distance. So we
Yeah.
had we had a few routines, remixes, classics, and then new routines, right? So we
Mm.
had 8
Yeah.
routines ready to rock for the whole entire battle, and we can commando them in, we can adapt, right? And let's be real, we utilize routines to show chemistry and teamwork and to stack and make a statement. We don't use routines to cover a solo. No, we use it to show, look at our character, originality, and teamwork, right?
Mm. Yes.
And we also have been working on our solos. Of course, solos, I mean, we've done so many battles where it's just 10 rounds. Let's go. Right. Um, so anytime we linked up, we're always planning. Right. Anytime we linked up, we're always, all right, if we battled X, Y, and Z, what's the game plan? All right. What's the audible? So there's always
Mm-hmm.
a chess game involved. Right. And so even when we start practicing for Lords of Floor, he's in Vegas. I'm in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
With
Right.
Zoom. We would Zoom cipher, Zoom session.
Oh,
That,
really? What?
yes, that's how we got new material, right? So that was our way that we leveled up is we would have Zoom session and we will have planning, right? And so we're prepped, we're ready to rock, we're ready to go the distance, and we knew 20 plus years coming back, what's at stake. And yeah, we're older, but when we showed up for Lords of the Floor, we were sharp, we were ready to rock, ready to go a distance, routines on deck, strong solos, and for me, and also JD, we just wanted to advance
Yeah.
and show more, for the town. That's my
Yeah.
biggest thing, right? And of course I'm biased, but round for round,
Right.
artistry to creativity to originality to longer rounds to the comparison versus who we battled.
Hmm.
I felt like we won, and I had so many text messages and direct messages, high level judges as well too, and even some pioneers that hit me up, flooded of their opinions and how well we did, and how
Okay.
we should took it to should advance. And I was watching. I finally got to watch the rest of our brackets, of the battles, and let's say, man, we're ready. We're excited, and we felt good that day. We were sharp. We're going for it, and
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, we made our statement. We just wanted to make our friends, family in Seattle proud.
Yeah. Yeah, that event was iconic, historical, amazing. It being there, I was there in the crowd. Oh man, the atmosphere and the energy was strong. It was, yeah, a lot of energy waving through for sure.
You know what made it really special, and what Red Bull did really a good job, because many people would say, "Oh yeah, watch out for these corporate entities that come in and try to, you know,
Uh-huh.
shape or reshape our culture." This was a moment where they brought the culture to the next level. They flew in every original competitors who were either in the bracket or not, who originally competed in 2001, 2002. They flew out all the
Oh
major
wow.
game players and promoters from all the parts of the country. Now, of course, they flew out the best of the best. They flew out their Red Bull B-boys and B-girls. And to be in the mixer or the pre-parties, it was a reunion. Because, even talking to like Boo Rock and Bebe from Ground Zero, like and even talking to Cloud and talking to, you know, who was it? It was Stuntman and Frankie Flav and Cross. It's refreshing because we're all grown-ups now, right? And I'm talking to Boo Rock about family, and we just had a really cool, refreshing, fun conversation about just breaking and just being, and just sharing and just going to work and having family and dancing, and that's cool, and we're happy with that, right? He had this
Right.
conversation was like, yeah, if you want to call me, I was like, no, I don't want to call you out. I just want to dance. Like I'll sit down and talk with you and chat with you. And he does a lot of social work. So it's like, I'll sit down and do talks with you. Like it would be great. It was a really cool conversation. It just shows how far we've gone, and that yes, we're b-boys and b-girls that have competed for a very long time, but at the end of the day, we're human beings just trying
Yeah.
to connect and have these conversations. So it was a beautiful reunion.
That's awesome. That's so amazing. Yeah. My experience being there, I was there for the prelims. I stayed the night at the W and just walking by everywhere and after parties and stuff, just connecting with people down there. I got to talk a lot with B-Boy Dizzy over
Mm-hmm.
there and just conversating as like you just mentioned, people, right? And just chopping up conversation, a few things. And it's just being in the atmosphere of everyone surrounding not just the jam, but the whole 3-4 day event that currently happened with the workshops and activities around there was great. It was incredible. Like I feel like there should be more of it just not the event, go home after the jam, but connecting and networking within if you're trying to grow or build mindsets and kind of understand other people's ability, what they're going through, or from their scene, right? It's just I don't know. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, what I'm seeing now too is the '90s and early 2000s generation really stepping up to the plate of understand these platforms that are coming to fruition, like the Olympics, or creating a shoe like what Dizzy is doing, or creating platforms where the next generation can thrive. It's really healthy, right? It's really healthy, and where people can
Yeah.
actually understand what's going on, keep the culture and the history and the essence of breaking thriving, and at the same time moving forward to see how we can all thrive together, right? And
Yes.
being professional at the same time of understanding what platform, like the Olympics, right? Olympics is coming.
Yeah. Yeah. It's coming
A
up.
certain mindset to not only compete in that, you can't just show up and just like rock cypher rounds. Like you're doing rounds, 18 to 19 rounds to win gold.
Oh man.
18 to 19
You're done
rounds
after.
from pre-selection to all the way to to win gold. And it is just not meant just physically exhausting, but mental. You gotta have rounds, like for competitions, top 16, it's like say the lower to flow format, it's about 9 to 10 rounds, right? Without tiebreakers, for solo wise, right? And then add your routines in there, you mix it up. But it's, again, that's the preparation is everything, right? And there's some cats who are really dope in a sense where they can just enter competitions, do really well. But now in these world championship competitions, you have to prep. You have to have a mindset to go the distance and to really get ready. Just not your mind, but your physical.
100%. It's always where an athlete state to preparate to that level if you want it.
Correct. And that's where it's going. That's where it's going with the Olympics. Because yes, you have to have enough material, content, but also understand that physically you have to be ready in the long runs, right? And then also too, what break and what makes it magical is art. It's art first. It's
Yeah.
it's it's character style, originality, and your own personal flavor that you add to the dance, right? You learn the history, the discipline, the culture, but adding to the dance and then catching with the musicality, try to tap into that flow state with your combos. It's a very unique thing to do, right? But understand the history, the people who came before you, and know where those moves are coming, right? There's moves that I've seen and where people don't know, and I get it, and it's all good. But to really dig in, what I've seen is cats who really dig into the history and knowledge of where the moves come from, history of their scene, who came before them, and even the history, because you got to learn their New York history. You know, the more people are educated in that and dive deep into that, oh yeah, as a B-boy and B-girl, I see how they thrive because they just know and understand and respect the process a little more. Yeah,
Damn,
absolutely.
that's dope. That's dope, man. So much knowledge from you, Jeromeskee. I do want to ask a wild thing. So R6, you competed in Korea R16 competition as a crew of Massive Monkey. That
Yes.
was a pretty historical moment in my eyes and many other eyes. What was the experience through that? Was it something you got invited to, or was it something like, hey, I'm gonna get down with the crew and just go compete and make prelims to it? I don't know anything about the backstory, so that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, I mean, let's even bring it back. 2008 was the first R16. I think 2008, 2009. John Jay hit us up, and we competed in R16, the very first R16, and
Okay.
we placed third. I think we
Oh
lost
wow.
to Rivers Crew, and then they had their third place battle. We battled Tsunami All Stars, so that happened. And then years later, fast forward, 2011. Yeah, 2011, they did a different format where they just had countries, right? So they had Team Puerto Rico, Team Korea, I think Team China. They had another team from Europe, and then they had Team Philippines. So I
Okay.
was in Team Philippines, and that was the first time that they had an actual Team Philippines in a World Championship competition, and we did well. We lost to Jinjo, but that was in 2011, and I started to understand more and more about the judging system. Um,
Okay.
I got to a point where I got comfortable where I could calculate real time. Okay, boom, 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 boom. Where they, how can we, because it's all about a chess game, right? and how can we
Mhm.
respond and answer real time with the judging system. See, a lot of people have to understand the system in order to play the game, right? Many people won't do
Right.
the work, right? Every time we compete, it's always about, okay, what's the system? Is there a system? Who's the judges? Okay, cool. What's the environment? What country? What's the time zone? Right? Okay, cool. Who's the
Yeah.
DJ? All right, how do they? What kind of music are they playing? Are they scratching in their set? Are they paying attention to the b-boy or b-girl dancing? Do they change the music real time in the middle of the set? Right? So you start to learn their ways. What's the color of the floor? Right? What I wear and how I rock, is it going to pop out on the floor? What's the floor feeling like?
Uh-huh.
Now, is it in Korea? What is it in wintertime, or is it in spring, where it's humid and they have cold blasting air conditioning going on, and it changes your breathing, right? So all
Oh,
that is at play, right?
yeah.
Okay, when we're competing, is that in our time zone? Are we sleeping? Right? So because your body
Right.
will respond, and when you're dead tired, and your body, and you still have to go a few rounds, and you have jet lag, and you're like in the moment where you feel like your body is like, what are you doing? I'm dying right now. But you have to push, right? You have to push it, and you have to have a diet as well too.
Mhm.
So 2011 came about, and then was it 20? It was 2010, yes, for Team Philippines. And
Okay.
2012 came around, and I was getting ready for my 10-round battle with Profo, and so a lot of people were
Oh,
already
wow.
in the flow of battling. We would just hit, and I remember battling my crew for 10 rounds by myself a few times, and there's other battles that are going on, so people were just in constant flow of going, and constant flow of like there's just that momentum. So we did a North America R16, and we did really well. That's all we wanted to do. It's like R16. Let's see how we rock, how we do, and we're successful at that. And then at 2012, that was the one. And long story short, too, is we want to do really well in the show aspect, because if we do really well in the show aspect, if you do top
Yeah.
three, you'll have an easier bracket, right? You have an easier bracket. And so we did this whole guitar, Spanish guitar. It's very artistically fresh. We loved it. Um, it just didn't do as well as we thought. So thinking that we are going to do at least top three, we got pot in I think 4, 5, or 6. And so we had one of the hardest brackets. We had Foundation. We're just like,
Ooh.
and then we had Jinjo. When we saw those two crews, we're just like, all right, cool. Everybody come on
Yeah,
in. Pep
they're
talk,
well
pep talk,
known.
pep talk. Yeah, everybody come on in. And you know what it is, man? Like in these world championship competitions, the best. Everyone is incredible. Everyone at their own right is the best at what they do. It's who's on mentally and physically as a unit at that time that will win and be successful. So it's understanding people's whys. It's understanding, that everyone here, in the squad has a voice, and hear the voice in everyone there in the squad is important, and everyone plays their roles, right? And with incredible b-boys, in that squad, it's just all about, okay, how can we go the distance? How can we prep and be ready for it? And we never say, hey, no, let's win it all the way. It was, let's see how far we can take it, because this competition is crazy and it's hard.
Uh-huh.
And round one, and then the Jinjo one was the one that that was, it's their hometown, and it was a very close battle. We just somehow etched it, and but we knew the system, the judging system as well, and
Okay.
then just learning the judging system and understanding and calculating in real time how to respond, right? If you watch the battle, don't look at the person in the middle, because maybe people will watch the person in the middle, and that's dope. But then rewatch the video of Jinjo versus Massive Monkees and watch how the crews are communicating to each other. We're throwing audibles real time. we're adapting in every second. There's a moment where we threw it audible when Wing was coming out, and if he landed or finished his solo moment early, like 15 seconds early, we won't be ready to respond. So it was literally down to that chemistry, teamwork, communication level. And then we went to the finals, and we were fortunate to win. And man, it was a moment.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a moment.
That is awesome. That's huge. That's amazing. And that the R16 competing in that, achieving that, I don't know if it's goals or, you know, but it's definitely something to achieve in the Massive Monkey books. And
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure, man. I mean, we did Lowers of the Floor in 2001, 2002, and we were no namers. We were just in the community and in the Seattle area and Oregon area. We made a name, and even in Canada, Vancouver, we
Okay.
up and down there. We do all the competitions there, but and we did some stuff, Freestyle Session in 2000. But when Lowers of the Floor came in 2001, 2002, we're the majority of us. I was still in high school. A lot of people were there in early 20s, but actually I was going to prom that day.
Oh, really? The same day of the
2001, I
comp.
had finals that week. I had Lowers of the Floor, which I was training for, and then right after Lowers of the Floor, I went to prom right after about style elements. And I remember having a whole bag of Red Bull, and it was new
Oh.
at the time. And I just grabbed it and brought it to my prom crew, the guys and
Uh,
the girls there, and I told them, "Hey, check this out." They're like, "What is it?" It's supposed to get you really hype. I'm like, is it safe? Is it cool? I don't know, but let's go. And we stayed up all night just drinking Red Bull. um, but yeah, man. So from 2001, 2002, then we did battles in between. I went to Japan. I remember did B1 Sagio, 2-on-2 Juice and myself. We lost the second round. And I remember being very, like, at that time, competitive. And so I was really upset and angry.
mm,
So I entered the solo battle that night. And I remember in Japan, anytime you go to Japan, like if you're a guest, they want value. It's just a respect, right? So they had
oh, really? Okay.
bracket A and bracket B, and I remember when I put my name in bracket A, like so many cats walked by. I'm like, all right, cool, let's go, right? And I just remember I was jet lagged, I was tired, but it was for me it was and it was B1 Sagio 2 versus 2 was a big competition at that time. The
Mhm.
solo was more of like a night event. It was jam packed with b boys. It was a significant battle, but it wasn't as big as 2-on-2. But for me, it was a game changer because I was jet lagged and I was battling so many b boys there to a point where I had about 2 tiebreakers with some really dope Japanese b-boys, and I got to a point where I was so dead tired, but I was willing to pass out in order to win. Like
Uh-huh.
I was willing to go the distance and do what I needed to do and keep on going into these longer rounds so I can go all the way. And that was that mentality that just switched on me where I'm like, that's how it's done. Like, yeah, no
Oh,
doubt.
wow.
Be safe, of course, health is everything. But the mental push of wanting to jump here to here was a 1% shift in my mind, thinking, if you really want it, how far will you willing to take it? And there's times where I was gonna be like dead tired, but I just pushed through. And I remember winning that competition in Japan, solo battle. Was like my first international solo battle. And I came back to 2003 for a freestyle session in Seattle. And so that I was riding that momentum, and we did really well. We battled again, K-Mel, who was it, Lego, and Rudy versus JD, myself, and Lil Lazy. And throughout the whole battle, even from prelims to top 16, top 8 to semifinals, we were in the flow. So we had a good time there. But now 2003 and then 2004, we won the world championships. And in between, we were doing other battles, international battles as well. Then R16, and then we did TV stuff before R16. We did America's Best Dance Crew, which was
Yeah,
a
that's right. Yeah.
whole different set, man. Like that's, the understanding of how we can take competitive routines and make it show worthy, in a sense, in that kind of arena. Yeah, it's a different mindset, and a different preparation. But we've been doing shows with the Boone Squad, for the songs. We've been doing theater shows, so that helped prep us up. So all these things
For
accumulated,
this.
yeah, for the
Right.
moment. So we again, like I was telling you with this podcast, like before we started recording, was just the idea of like you have arrived, right? It's timing. It's time.
Thank
Right?
you. Yeah.
All those things accumulate, and you make the choice, and then you arrive, and therefore it is. So yeah, man, it's and at the end of the day, though, it's just to understanding the core of why you do what you do, right? Cool.
Yeah.
Get the accolades. Cool. All right. You got the world championship. Cool. You got a Massive Monkey Day. But what you gonna do with it, right? Like real
Right.
talk. It sounds like cliche, whatever, but no, real talk.
Oh yeah,
Like
100% on that.
it's what our core identity is. It's like, all right, cool. What are you gonna do with it though? I remember
Yes. Yes.
I remember right before, they were about to announce us in R16. And I remember looking up where there's the guy in the middle. He's about to raise people's hands. And I remember for a quick couple seconds in my head saying, we do this. Like if we win, oh my goodness, like I'm gonna try my very best to get back as much as I can, right? Like that was a core moment where I'm like, all right, if we get this, all right, I will give back as much as I can, to the next generation. That's real talk, and that's how a lot of things evolved in a sense where like that's what we do. We we create these platforms to give back. So it's good, man. And then we also did Macklemore, right? There's these moments.
Yeah. Is that Mackmore and Ryan Lewis?
Yeah, Macklemore, Ryan Lewis. Yeah,
Wow.
great,
Yeah. Do you guys want
great.
to tour with those guys for
Yeah,
a
they're
season or
they're
two?
they're good people, man. Like we
That's
work with
awesome.
certain cats, and we've done the industry stuff here and there. But to work with Seattle, hometown guys, and how they run their whole process and their platform of shows and their team, incredible human beings. People always ask, how is Macklemore like? And I tell them like, hey, have you ever seen them in interviews? He's down to earth, right? They're like, yeah, 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 yeah. Well, in real life, he's like that times five. Super humble, super down to earth, gives us our flowers. We did a show. They brought us back 6 years after, because we did a tour, and with the tour life, it's a lot of work.
Oh
Coming in,
yeah.
and it's great, no doubt. And when we have these certain opportunities, we take full advantage, we maximize it, create connections, and we try to see, okay, cool, what's the next thing we can work on, right? So it's never like that's it and that's it. We're just gonna be battle competition people. No, it's like cool. Let's continue to flow with that. All right, we've done some work. What else can we do? Theater, okay, great. What else can we do? Shows, okay, great. But biggest part is always what can we do to give back to the next generation? Because people got to understand, even the
Right.
older cats, some cats will be like, "Whoa, I don't have a scene and everything." Well, what are you doing for the scene, right?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
like, cool. And you don't have to be a named big b-boy. You don't have to win the accolades. Does it help? Yeah, absolutely, it does. But you can create your own platforms and literally create the next generation. You just got to keep it consistent, keep it fresh, and figure it out. And somebody might say, "Oh, I don't have funding." Well, figure it out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like if your heart's into it, then there's times where my master break challenge when we don't have funding, but I'm like, hell's no, like I want to make sure we figure it out. You know, I'll have the homie DJ that they'll have a discount because they believe in the mission, of this platform, and there's judges and the crew I will support, but figure it out, like make it happen. If you want to do it, and if you're doing something where it's like people see like it's about the next generation or about people, things will happen. Things will happen, in a good way. So
Damn, that's sick. That's inspiring to, as we age, get back your experience, your knowledge to the new generation to help them evolve, kind of shape some paths or just build what they want to learn. So
yeah, and when we give back to, it's not trying to make them professional or dope b-boys and b-girls. It's really trying to give them the value structure and system of believing, right? Of understanding, being self-aware, and knowing more about themselves. So if they go into another field or soccer player, or you know, it's awesome now because I'm in this position where I will see my longtime students that I haven't seen for years, right? Like 10 years later. Now I saw them when they were in middle school. Now they're adults. Or 15 years later, where I'm like, got family now. Oh, so beautiful, right?
wow.
I was at Lower Zero Floor. I have a few highlights.
Uh-huh. Okay.
One highlight was, after Lower Zero Floor, after our battle, and I went to go see my kids. Like that was dope. And to see them pose in front of Lower Zero Floor, breaking poses and everything, like, yeah, that's dope. Because I get to share
That's
that
dope.
moment. Because the early 2000s was like, us up and coming, now being, in the 40s and still doing it, right? Still
Yeah.
doing it, and then able to share that moment, like it's special. It's different, it's different. It's very special. But to also see my first generation students, Quan, Dan, Ben, because they came out there to support, and to see him just on the walking by, like, yo, what up? And this we always share a moment, and I just got to a point where I would come up to people and just give them their flowers, man. Like I just got to, they appreciate me and I appreciate them, but I just got to a point where I'm like, dude, you guys inspired me. Yes, I was there to coach and help you out, but you guys inspired me to believe like I could, we can progress and keep going, and I want to, do more. And so it was really cool to see them.
That's
And I also
awesome.
got to see a lot of like dope b-boys that I battled over time, and just appreciating them and acknowledging them for what they do. It's just real talk.
Wow. Yeah, that's such an incredible event to see so many faces from all around the world, places, and it's in your hometown, Seattle, Lord of the Floors. I, there's so much to it that
Yeah.
I had a great time myself. It was a great moment being there, not just with the main event, but overall the whole.
Yeah, yeah, the energy was incredible, man. And I know that coming back 20 years later, can't be repeated again, And that's why we put so
Yeah.
much work into that preparation. And we knew, like JD and I, we knew like how much of an honor this is. We knew that we had to put in the work. We knew our friends and family, and we're, representing the city of Seattle. And we wanted to come correct. And so we did our very best, and we did our thing, man. We did well.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Did you do you have what's your most favorable moment in breaking?
Hmm. It's a lot, man. It's a lot.
Yeah, I bet. I bet.
It's a lot.
There's
Um, it's there's a lot to a point where it's fascinating because there's moments now where I'm like, things just aligning with. I'm like, whoa, deja vu, right? Oh,
oh yeah.
okay, here we go, right? Right now that I can think of is seeing my kids dance, man. That joy and
That's
happiness
awesome.
with breaking, that thing that I've dedicated my life to and love. Um, to see them go out there and do it in a way where they could just be, right? Not have to worry about,
Mm.
trying to do this move and trying to do that, but just to flow with the music and have that flow state of being themselves. and expressing that joy and happiness. Like that right there, I try to capture. There's, of course, there's battles. There's battles. There's small battles to big battles. Yeah, R16 for sure. Japan was one in Battle Runners. Just the respect and honor that they have out there and love. We're special guests. Just the whole timeline of events that happened there in 2006. That's one of the highlights as well. I have this other highlight too. It's a local battle. It was with my first generation students, Vicious Dog Pound, right? They're called Vicious
Okay.
before, but Dog Pound. I entered a competition with them in 2010, and just to see how it was awesome because they were throwing out commandos. They had their language of routines and ideas, and I was just part of it. I'm like, all right, cool. You guys tell me what to do, and I'm there, right? Because usually it's always the flip, right? It's like, hey, just do this, da 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 da. And I was just like, hell's yeah, like get it. Like you tell me what to do, you got to lead it. I will follow your lead. It was a beautiful moment, right?
Nice.
And there's other parts of it in different countries, right? Going to Israel or Colombia or Brazil and just different countries I would never thought I would be at. You know, of course, France. I represented the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine. You know, in the early
Oh, but
2012.
that's so cool.
We did stuff in France and work out there as well, in Denmark too. Um, Many battles there as well. The biggest part is just again, like I said early on, the connection and understand and knowing, you know, like just knowing that, you know, like even right here, connecting and talking, like we can build, you know, and there's people that I built
Yeah.
with years ago that I would see and we would work on an idea together or a platform or some project together. And it was just that connection that we had 10 or 15 years ago, right? So there's always a understand that, you know, we we can build and connect and if we don't connect in the future, then that's awesome. It's just that moment of like cool. Even when it comes to battles, right? I mean, look at what battles are if they're people from the outside looking in, right? That they're not
Uh-huh.
people where they're looking at these two guys or girls battling each other out, looking like they're going to fight each other, right? With that aggression.
Oh,
And then
right, right.
when the music is done, the love that they express to each other is genuine. Um,
Yeah.
there's this video clip that I watch. They had the the Lords of the Floor originals, and this guy he put it together and just had showing. He had moments and clips
Uh-huh.
on his IG showing the love and respect of the originals. Just the outtakes of them prepping, them giving hugs. And it was a moment. When I watched it, it's only a 30-second clip, but it was just he captured a moment where the real, right? You know,
Oh,
everyone coming
right.
from different walks of life, everybody has their own story, but that connection, that respect and love that they have, because you know, it takes a certain individual to be dancing for to in their 40s, you know? Like, come on now, let's be real. People in their 40s,
Yeah.
come on, right? Like, not a lot of people are breaking, you know? I remember in my 20s when people, B-boys, pioneers in their 30s would be like, yeah, I stopped in my late 20s or I stopped in my early 20s. We're doing this in our 40s. And that's what made Lords of the Floor significant because they did a good job of connecting culture, connecting the originals, connecting the new generation. And they put it all together and made sense of it and made it beautiful, right? Um, so that was a very cool understanding for people to see that in your 40s, you can still get down. And, you know, the new generation, there's people who, you know, don't know some of the originals, don't know their scene or their pioneers or people who came before them. And it's all good, but make it happen, you know, like find the people like for Seattle Massive Monkees, our showpiece was strictly the timeline and trying to give people the respect and flowers that they deserve, right? So you see the origins of
Yeah.
Massive Monkees, who, what, when, why, who, what, when, and why, and then who came before us, who was the hitters, and to pay our respect, you know. And there's a moment where it was Soul One, you know, rest in peace, Soul One DVS and Fever Tribute. Those are our mentors, our big brothers. Those guys showed us the way, and we gave them a tribute moment or Fever One Dance. That got me. I was like, yo, this is beyond break.
Yeah.
Family is more than family. This is legacy.
Wow.
This is this is a special moment because they're the ones who showed us, man, like the way of like, yeah, cool, do breaking, do hip hop, but also, you know, put in the work and be the best that you can be and be outstanding. And then also too, it's like, yo, don't forget and always remember about your community, you know. And yeah, we took that ideology and we made it ours in the sense of the way we did it, and we just kept on breaking in competitions and shows and theater and now coaching in our studios.
Wow. Are you working on any projects or anything in the horizon currently?
Yeah,
or
man.
down the road?
I have a new nonprofit I'm working with, and what I've learned with nonprofits, it's really, yes, you can have the mission and vision, and you can have the right coaching, but also getting funding from it is the big deal, right?
Right. Yeah.
Funding from it will move move you forward. So the team I have right now with this new nonprofit, incredible, just good-hearted people, and all the stuff that I'm working on, that I've been working on for Massive Break Challenge, Breaking Youth League. We're just going to try to scale that up, try to impact and really help the community, and try to not try, but the horizon is looking further than just Seattle, making it more of a national
Oh,
league.
nice.
And also we're working on I have a color system program that I'm working on. So think martial arts, right? So that
Right.
was out a year ago, and it's helped a lot of the progression. And it's more than just learning moves, right? Like there's a whole legacy test that you have to understand. And what are you doing as like we would focus on quarterly? We would focus on like leadership, right? What are you doing for your family? What does leadership look like in the community? What does leadership look like at school? Right? Like stuff like that, where we're trying to get beyond breaking and adding core values for people to really work and flow with.
Nice.
Right. So and also too, we're doing growth mindset shows. So we go to schools, Title I schools or schools that have low funding, and say, hey, we have a show, and we'll go there, do it for free or a very small amount of cost, and we'll break and talk about growth mindset. So those are the three platforms that this new nonprofit is helping out with.
So that's awesome. The nonprofit built up, and it's called Incredible.
Right now it's called we have official name.
Okay.
Yeah, we have an official name, but we'll release it very soon, and we're doing a whole process. So I'll
Oh, okay. You said it was incredible. Oh,
yeah,
I
it's
thought that was the
incredible.
name.
It's not called incredible, but yeah. It's coming out soon, and there'll be a whole process behind it. It'll be great.
Oh, nice. That's dope. That's dope. When keep in touch with that, and down the road, where can we find that type of stuff? Do you have a website that we can
Yeah, I'll
get
have it. I'll
into?
I'll post it on my Instagram, and I'll post it on yeah, it'll be around on social media as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're gearing up for a fundraiser coming up, and also too, my wife and I studio, my wife's and our studio. We're in the Renton area, and we have ongoing classes too. So we're busy. We're back to back, and owning a studio is a whole different
Oh,
process.
yeah.
So, like again, it comes down to like, great, cool. You've been in the breaking game for a long time, but um, owning a studio and working those details and logistics behind owning a studio, making that move, like any business, right? It's a different thing. but we're doing it, man.
That's
And
awesome.
we're going for it, and we are, we're moving forward and we're doing well.
People that try to come out to Seattle, how can we get in touch with the Beacon and you? I know you said social media. What was your user handle to find you?
For the Beacon is the Beacon. You'll see it on IG. For this for studio, my wife and I own is BLS Dance. It's on IG. BLSdance.com. For Massive Monkees is massivemonkees.com with 2 E's, MONKEES.com. And Massive Monkey Day is coming up.
Yep.
Yep, it's coming up May, the weekend of I think it's 26, 20, yeah, 26, the main day, but the whole weekend, 24, 25, 26. My Massive Break Challenge Youth Championship is happening at the Folk Life Festival on the 27th of May. And this is the thing that we gear up to, because we do once a month. We do a free event, and we bring in friends and family that gears up to our Massive Break Challenge finale at the Folk Life Festival. And it's awesome because you get to see these kids with their raw talent, and the community does show up. And it's a cool venue. We've been partners with Folk Life Festival for over now, 12 years now, 12 to 13 years now. So they've been really cool to us.
That's awesome. And I know the Massive Monkey, you guys partner up with Pro Breaking Tour.
Yes. Over the years, we've been partnering with them, so it's always been great to work with them. And yeah, man, then this Massive Monkey Day is coming off from Lords of the Floor, right? And just having that momentum, and then going to Massive Monkey Day, it will be special. It'll be fun, and the energy is there.
Jeromeskee, I'm gonna wrap up here. Do you have any questions for me at all?
No, man. I appreciate your time, and thank you very much. What you're doing, man, keep it up, bro.
Yeah, thank you, appreciate it. And
sometimes it's like it could be different in a sense because you're doing it all by yourself,
yeah.
But man, you're doing it, bro, so respect.
Thank you, appreciate that. And before we wrap it up, I like to do what's called a cipher round. So it's pretty simple. We're not actually breaking or ciphering down. We're gonna hit up a couple questions, probably about 5 questions, whatever you can think of top of your mind. You ready for it?
Let's do it.
Let's go. So let's hit with the cipher round. First question. Do you have a favorite breakdance move?
There's my go-to moves where I know I have to hit to change or shift the round. So I do have my go-to moves.
Okay.
I do have names for it, and those are my amazing top secret names.
All right.
Sometimes, they're really like, what the, this is my own language. But yeah, I always, basically, yes, I do. I have a set called the Transformer set. I have a set called the Nelly. I do have combinations, and I can adapt and change within the moment. I really try to just be in the moment, to listen to the music and rock the combinations. And cats who think like, oh yeah, I don't write my moves down. Come on now, man. Do not kid yourself. You have sets, and you have combinations.
Right.
If you want battle in these competition nowadays, you have to have combinations, because if you just freestyle all day, you're going to repeat, hands down. That's just how the mind works. And if you just have a set where it just you're going to be too robotic, you got to find a balance. And everyone's different, right? Everyone's different, right? But if you listen and watch, listen with the music and watch the person, and you can really start to understand if they're more freestyle, or they're more set driven, or if they can find a balance in between. But everyone has combinations. Everyone has moves on their phone or on a notebook. Let's keep it real.
Yeah. You learn combos, so you can mix it up and freestyle with it, and then for sure.
Absolutely.
So the next question, do you have a favorite artist or song? It could be very broad, so yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that can.
All right. Hip hop wise, 93 Until Infinity.
Oh, right? Word. Okay.
That gets me hyped, right? That gets me hyped. But to be straightforward, like what I listen to, right?
Uh-huh.
Meditation music, man.
Oh,
Meditation.
really?
Yes. So this has been one of my preparations for Lords of the Floor. In these big competitions, I usually would overtrain, right? Now throughout the years, I learned to find the balance. So what helped me out to be inspired and to be consistent and also to respect my body so I don't overtrain and hurt myself
Yeah.
or empty the tank. I would have meditation breaking. I call it
Oh,
Tai Chi breaking. So I would listen to meditation music and I'll go through my movements, acknowledging each movement with a good energy and flow, right? And that's how I can be in the moment, but also um, go through the flow of it and adapt real time, but really slow it down. And that's helped me.
interesting. Wow, that's crazy. I gotta
Yeah,
try that. Throw some meditation music on and see
yeah,
how I flow with it.
yeah. There's a way about doing it. People would be like,
Okay.
"Oh, that's corny," and they go slow. No, no. There's a way. There's a way of doing it. It's just you got to really tap into that mindset.
Wow, that's dope. That's some next level stuff, Jeromeskee. Gotta coach that, or maybe you are coaching that. I don't know, but I love it. That's awesome. Do you like pineapple on pizza?
No.
It's a hate
As
or
a
love
kid,
question,
as a
man.
kid, yes.
Uh-huh.
As an adult, nah. Nah. I go with pepperoni. You know,
Okay.
pepperoni and mushrooms.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. There you go.
So it's,
Are you currently reading a book, or do you have a favorite book or audiobook?
I listen to podcasts right now.
Okay. Podcast?
Yes. Um, Nothing currently right now, but I'll listen to some Joe Rogan stuff. No doubt about that. I'll listen to stuff,
Yeah.
some diverse. I just like listening to perspectives, right? Um, Stuff that I wouldn't really tap into. Um, so meaning perspectives. I like to get people's perspectives that of a different lifestyle, right? So not always breaking, not always hip hop, but something that's just totally different. So just I can just understand a little more. Yeah.
Mm, nice. Nice. Love it. Love it. Last question. If you had a chance to enter a 2 versus 2 with anybody, do you know who your partner would be?
Easy. JD.
JD, which is Twix.
Yeah, hands down.
Yeah.
Like hands down. I can care less like if a person is a big name B-boy. I can care less if the person is a world championship, but it comes down to chemistry, right? It comes
Yeah,
down
for sure.
to tapping in at the right time and knowing like how to read the moment, right? And I'll say this, and I said it in my post, like our chemistry is unique and unparalleled. It's just a different vibe, you know. Um, Years. It takes years. It took us years. A
Right.
lot of losses, and then we had that grind to just keep moving forward. Like even with this one, with the Lords of the Floor, it took me a while to like because we put in so much work, right? And your
Yeah.
mind wants to go into the rabbit hole of like this, that, boom, boom. Then I watch constant push-up. We always check ourselves first. That's the thing. We don't go, you should have done you. No, we go, what could we have done? All right, what could we? What's the perspective? What's the angles? What's the look? And we check ourselves first, look round for round, and then we would make a conclusion out of it, and we felt really great about it. But that's my
Mm.
bow rhythm. We gone through so much small ciphers to big bows together. Um, Hands down, Twix.
Oh, nice, dude. That's incredible. Jeromeskee, if people want to get in touch with you, I know you said it a little bit earlier. Where can they find you?
They can check just my IG. I check that often, or
Okay.
they can go to jeromeskee.com, JEROMESKEE.com, or my IG handle, which is Jeromeskee_MM.
Nice. And I'll add that all into the description below, all those details. Yeah. Jeromeskee, We're gonna wrap it up right here. Is there any last words or takeaway for me or the viewers?
Yeah, man. Tony, thanks again for having me. Again, you're doing great things, and just keep it flowing, bro. You only hit some moments here and there, but just keep moving forward. Forward is the way. For the viewers, honestly, just have fun, man. Like, don't take things too serious at times. Just have fun. Know your why, because each year will change. You know, like if you've been breaking for a long period of time, things will change. There'll be times where you just don't feel 100%. There's times where you need to take a break. It's okay. Take your time, right? It's not always about the instant gratification of now and the moment and look at me. It's all about the process, right? Which is easier said than done. But if you know your true north and you know your why and you know where you want to go and there's a good cost behind it, right? Yeah, get your accolades. Yeah, get your name out there if you want to, if that's your thing. But know and understand that it's more than just you, right? It's giving back or creating a platform so other people can thrive and do their thing. But at the same time, be the best version of yourself. Show up mentally and physically. Take it serious, and at the same time have fun, and then lean back and not take yourself too serious, right? So it's finding that balance of taking it serious and in times where it's just have fun and enjoy it, and just be you is the most important thing, right?
Yeah.
Don't try to be like somebody else. Get inspired with the moves and what's happening and understand what's popping with the certain moves and what's popular, but then know and be aware, but add to the dance, meaning add your character, originality, and style, because that's how you will be remembered. And that is something when you dance, you can be authentically you. And that's the best part of feeling good, because you represent yourself on a dance floor being you. And nobody can take that away from you. So be you. Have fun.
Wow. That's huge. That's huge. Jeromeskee, thank you for getting on to the podcast. Such a blessing to have you on the show. If you viewers like this, please follow, subscribe. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Peace.
Many of us growing up, we suppress it because of families or, we suppress that voice. We go into these schools, they suppress us, and hip hop is like, hell nah.
You realize that you can do that with almost anybody in different communities. There's a really important part to maturity of yourself, and to have breaking be the vehicle for that is, in my case especially, immeasurable.